Thanks for staying with us in the conversation. We move now to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the former head of the presidential party in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Jean-Marc Kabund, who recently switched to the opposition, was arrested in Kinshasa and transferred to prison in connection with proceedings for contempt of the head of state. According to the prosecutor's statement, Kabund, who has been placed under provisional arrest warrant in Makala prison in the capital, is prosecuted for insulting the head of state, damaging imputations and defamation.
Now, in another development, still in the Democratic Republic of Congo, United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken arrived in Congo's capital, Kinshasa, on Tuesday, continuing his three-nation tour of Africa after meeting with President Felix Tshisekedi. Anthony Blinken said his country is concerned about credible reports that Rwanda is supporting rebels in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Blinken added that it was not turning a blind eye and would discuss the issue with Rwandan President Paul Kagame. Now, join us live this evening from Cape Town, South Africa, is Benjamin Likute Bauma, a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us on the conversation, Benjamin.
Good evening.
Yes. Now, Benjamin.
Good evening.
Good evening. Now, Benjamin, Jean-Marc Kabund, an MP and former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, was arrested on Tuesday in Kinshasa and questioned and held in custody. The charge list submitted by prosecutors said Kabund was guilty of insulting the head of state, making damaging insinuations and slander. What do you make of his arrest and these charges?
Okay, the arrest of the MP Kabund poses a real problem that the Democratic Republic of Congo is still facing. It means the problem of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech and the control of the executive to the rest of the organs of the government. You see, I would like to remind you that in Congo we have a system where we have a separation of power, meaning the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. Each one of them has got his own. No one is controlled by the others. Unfortunately, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, we still have the heritage of the former system of the dictator Mobutu Sese Seko. As you can know, Congo came from a dictatorship, a system where we had only one political party which was confused. Like in the same political party, there were the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. Now the situation in Congo, though we tend to go to the democracy, unfortunately in Congo, we still have the reminiscence of this old system. Has got the tough skin to get away. So in Congo, actually, though theoretically speaking, people that are talking about separation of power with the three arms of the country, I mean the executive, legislative, and the judiciary, we are still in a system where the executive, which is presently the president of the country, is still controlling the judiciary. Theoretically speaking, the judiciary is free. But when you look on all the outcome, the judgment, everything, you will notice that what the will of the president or the will of the executive is to what the judiciary is doing. So the problem that Congo must try to sort arms of the government. This is yes, go on, yes.
Yeah, you're talking about the will of the will of the executive. Now, if you look at situations there and the arrest of Jean-Marc Kabund, it coincided with a visit to Kinshasa by U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who is under pressure from pro-democracy groups to speak out on rights abuses in DR Congo. I mean, their conversations discussed on climate change and the DR Congo and Rwanda impasse. So how would you relate all this?
Okay, come again. I was a little bit, I had a problem with connection. Can you just come again with your question, please?
I said that the Kabund's arrest coincided with a visit to Kinshasa by the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who is under pressure from pro-democracy groups to speak out on rights abuses in DR Congo. Now, what's your assessment of the human rights and civil space in the DRC?
Okay. As I said, Congo, when we talk about the human rights, when you try to analyze the situation of Congo presently, you must not forget the history of Congo, where we came from, as I said previously.
The Mobutu regime.
Everything that is happening here is related to the past of Congo. When we talk about the human rights in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in theory, on the paper, the human rights is defended in Congo, but in practice, Congo doesn't implement the human rights. We take the freedom of speech. Let's take the example of the arrest of Kabund that I'm seeing in the picture. The arrest of Kabund, we have what we call in Congo, how they said it. So in Congo, when, for instance, you express what you think about the situation of Congo, one of the acts that the president of the country maybe can impose make a decision, and when you criticize it, they say you are insulting the president. Like in the case of Kabund did it insult the president. He did enumerate what is happening actually in Congo.
So quickly, Benjamin, sorry to jump in here. Sorry to jump in here.
Those who are in charge, on control of the financial coffers of the state, according to Kabund, I'm not sure about that. Kabund that affirmed that they have evidence that people.
Okay, Benjamin, if you can hear us, you talk about so much human rights violation in DRC. Now, if you look at Anthony Blinken's visit, there are two things, climate change and the impasse between DRC and Rwanda. What do you make of this visit? Okay,
you said, I think I had a problem of connection again.
Yes,
you said what?
The United States Secretary of State is in the DRC, and this is coming after a recent report by a UN group of experts saying that there's solid evidence that Kigali is interfering and supporting the M23 rebels. What do you think is going to happen with this visit of Anthony Blinken? He's also visiting Kigali very soon. What will come out of this visit?
What is sure is that, as you just said, the UN experts did, Congo was saying it before, that behind the M23, the army of Rwanda is there. Congo did affirm it, and then the MONUSCO and the expert of the UN did found the evidence that the Kigali is supporting M23. Now, the reality is, if you look on the history, the cooperation between Congo DRC and the United States, you will see that the relationship between the two countries has not always been smooth. I would like to take you back to the history, for instance, when Congo gained its independence in the 60s, we had our Prime Minister, Patrice Emery Lumumba. Unfortunately, it was not the American people, not only the American people, the USA and the Belgium, they didn't like the way it was viewing the relationship between Congo and the United States. It ended up being assassinated, and there are evidence. Even the Belgium did give back to Congo the tooth of Lumumba. There is evidence that the United States and the Belgium, they were involved in the assassination of Lumumba. So if I bring you back to the past, it's me to show you that the America is aware now that the people of Congo of the 60s and the present people of Congo, they don't have the same view. So they have now to make a balance between to completely to let this sentiment, anti-American, that is now prevailing in the Democratic Republic of Congo, to try to correct it.
Okay.
Because if you talk to the population of Congo now, people, they tend to look now toward Moscow, Russia. So I'm sure,
Benjamin, you talk about balance and peace and, of course, dropping their sentiments. Even though we've seen the two presidents come together, we do hope that they'll bring lasting peace. I mean, we could go on, and we do hope to bring you back, Benjamin, subsequently on this program to discuss further on how to bring peace to DRC. But unfortunately, we have to cut the calls now. Thank you so much, Benjamin, for joining us on the conversation.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome.
And this is where we draw the curtains in today's edition of the conversation. The first half of the program, we did look at the electoral situation in the Republic of Kenya. We just concluded our conversation on the arrest of Jean-Marc Kabund, opposition leader in the Democratic Republic of Congo, coinciding with the visit of the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. I'm Benga Bora. Thank you very much for being a part of the program.
And I'm Rita Omodia.
Bye-bye.